Alex here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to this second episode showcasing team sets from the 1953 Bowman Color collection. So I still have several cards left to get in the set, but as I'm counting down the cards and completing the team sets, I'm slowly putting together videos to showcase the cards of each team and also taking a look at the 1953 season for each team to see how the team fared that year and also to see if I can find any interesting stories about the team itself and some of the players. So the Cleveland Indians team set is one of the largest in the 53 Bowman Color set. There are 12 Cleveland Indians cards among the 160 card set. There are a ton of key ones as well, some Hall of Famers, some well-known players, and all of these cards really tell a really fun and interesting story about this Cleveland Indians team. So let's get started. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start with the manager of the Indians, Al Lopez. His parents were originally from Spain, but was raised in Florida. Next up, catcher, Jim Hegan. Had to deal with quite an arsenal of pitchers. Starting with this gentleman, Hall of Famer Bob Feller. Pretty sure this is the only spring training card for the Cleveland Indians in this set. Great shot of Feller. Also Hall of Famer Early Wynn. Great shot of Wynn. Tough competitor. Definitely not somebody to mess with, and you can see it right there on his face. He threw at everybody and anybody. Mike Garcia, another workhorse for the Indians. And here's another key Cleveland Indian card in this set, Larry Doby. Nice pose. Well, we're just getting started, guys. You can see I've run out of stands. So we've got the Hebrew Hammer, Al Rosen. I'm going to be talking about him here in a moment. One of my favorite cards in the whole set, Roberto Avila, who has just made a fantastic stop, backhanded stop. A very underrated slugger, Dale Mitchell. Ray Boone from the Boone legacy of baseball players. Lots of different Boones from different generations playing in the game. Harry Simpson, Suitcase Harry, with the infamous dot. If anybody out there ever collects this set, you'll discover it's hard to find a Harry Simpson card without that black dot in the sky there. Last but certainly not least, very famous Negro League star Luke Easter, who was quite the slugger in his day. Great card, great pose. So there you have it, a really robust collection of Cleveland Indians cards from 1953. So one of the biggest challenges that the Cleveland Indians had to deal with in the 1950s was quite simply the New York Yankees. In 1951, the Indians finished in second place behind the Yankees, and in 1952, guess what? Same thing, finished in second place behind the Yankees. So one of the things that was in their favor was their pitching staff. Mike Garcia, Early Wynn, Bob Feller, and Bob Lemon definitely improved the Indians' chances of competing in their division and in their league in general. In 1950, the combination of Feller, Lemon, Wynn, and Garcia became known as the Big Four. To shore up their pitching staff, the Indians made some mid-season trades, one of them with the Tigers. So in exchange for Ray Boone and a few other players, they received Art Houtman, Bill White, and Joe Ginsberg. Okay, so just how good was this pitching staff in 1953? Well, between them, they had a win-loss record of 73 wins and 50 losses, with a combined ERA of 3.59. Now that's pretty good. But just 1 year later, when the Cleveland Indians finally surpassed the New York Yankees and made it all the way to the World Series to face the New York Giants, their win-loss record was 93 and 36, with a combined ERA of 2.85. Now that's crazy good. The overall record of the Indians that year was 111 wins and 43 losses. And that is still the all-time winning percentage record in the American League before the 162-game season. Okay, so let's take a look at some stats, starting with the pitchers. So Mike Garcia had an 18-9 record with a 3.25 ERA. He actually had 21 complete games in 1953. Bob Feller had a record of 10-7 with a 3.59 ERA. And Early Wynn had a 17-12 record with a 3.93 ERA. Okay, now let's look at some position players. So first up is Roberto Avila. He had a .286 average with 8 homers and 55 RBI, so definitely contributing. Next up is Luke Easter. He had a .303 average with 7 home runs and 31 RBI. The reason his numbers are so small is because he only played in 68 games in 1953. So as some of you guys know, Luke Easter's career in the majors started late in life due to segregation in baseball. He spent the majority of his career in the Negro Leagues. So in 1953, he spent part of the year in AAA and then ultimately retired in 1954. Next up is Dale Mitchell. This guy had a .300 average with 13 home runs and 60 RBI. His slugging percentage in 1953 was third behind Al Rosen and Larry Doby. So this guy was a huge bat in the Indians lineup. Next up, we've got Larry Doby himself with a .263 average, 29 homers, and 102 RBI. And we're saving the best for last, Mr. Hebrew Hammer himself, Al Rosen, who was the American League Most Valuable Player in 1953. He was the first third baseman to win the award in the American League in baseball history. In '53, he had a .336 average with 43 home runs and 145 RBI. And he was real close to winning the Triple Crown. In fact, he basically missed it by 1 hit. So a fantastic season for Al Rosen. But even with Al Rosen's bat and all that great pitching, the Yankees still took the division in 1953 and left the Indians with a 92-62 record, 8.5 games behind the first-place Yankees. The Indians would have to wait 1 more year before they would make it all the way to the World Series. So that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thanks so much. I hope you enjoyed this run-through of the Cleveland Indians team set, and I hope you'll be back soon to check out the next installment. Until next time, take care, and I'll talk to you all soon.